Take a moment and look at your smartphone. It's sleek, lightweight, and fits perfectly in your hand. But have you ever wondered what makes it tick? What hidden forces power the device you use every day? Beneath the glass and metal exterior lies a universe of intricate technology, all made possible by a group of materials called rare earth elements. These elements are the unsung heroes, quietly enabling the magic of modern electronics. But it's not just your phone. Rare earths are essential in electric cars that promise a greener future, in the massive wind turbines generating clean energy, and in the advanced fighter jets that protect nations. They're woven into the fabric of our daily lives and our security. There are 17 of these metallic elements with names like neodymium, dysprosium, and terbium. Though you may never see them, they are the secret ingredients behind the technology that defines our age. These elements are used to create ultra-powerful magnets for electric motors, the brilliant colors in LED screens, and the sophisticated sensors that make our devices smart. Without them, much of our modern technology simply wouldn't exist. The name rare earth is actually misleading. They're not especially rare in the Earth's crust, but finding them in concentrations high enough to mine economically is a real challenge. Extracting and separating these elements is a dirty, difficult, and expensive process. It often leaves behind toxic waste and environmental scars, making it a controversial industry. For decades, many developed countries chose to step back from this messy business, letting others take on the environmental and economic costs. This decision created a global imbalance in supply and expertise. Today, one country stands at the center of this industry: China. China invested heavily in rare earth mining and processing, building up the infrastructure and know-how to control every step of the supply chain, from extraction to refining to manufacturing. This dominance gives Beijing immense leverage. The world's technology and defense industries are now deeply dependent on China's supply of these critical materials. The stakes are high. It's not just about economics, it's a matter of national security for the United States and its allies who worry about the risks of relying on a single supplier. Imagine if, overnight, the supply of rare earths was cut off. Factories would grind to a halt, and entire industries could be paralyzed. This dependency is a fragile foundation for the global economy and for military strength. A single disruption could send shockwaves through markets and governments worldwide. The story of rare earths is one of foresight, neglect, and a dawning realization of just how strategically important these elements have become. Now, a new race is underway. Countries are scrambling to develop their own sources, invest in recycling, and secure the supply chains that power our modern world. The invisible materials that power our future are no longer just a scientific curiosity. They're at the heart of a global competition that will shape the decades to come. China's dominance in rare earths was no accident. It was the result of a calculated, decades-long strategy that transformed the global market. While many countries overlooked the importance of these minerals, China quietly laid the groundwork for what would become a near monopoly. In the 1980s, while others saw rare earth mining as messy, environmentally risky, and unprofitable, China saw a unique opportunity to secure a critical resource for the future. As Western nations closed their mines due to high costs and environmental concerns, China ramped up production. Deng Xiaoping famously declared, "The Middle East has oil, China has rare earths." This statement became a guiding principle for China's industrial policy, signaling the country's intent to dominate this sector. China invested heavily in scientific research, built advanced infrastructure, and trained a new generation of experts in mining and processing technologies. This commitment to innovation set China apart from its competitors. State-owned companies, backed by government support, took control of both mining and processing. By offering rare earths at prices far below global competitors, they drove many foreign producers out of business. As prices plummeted, mines in the US and other countries were forced to shut down, unable to compete with China's low-cost production and government backing. By the early 2000s, China had become the only country with large-scale processing capacity, controlling every step from extraction to refinement. This control over processing, not just mining, gave China a powerful chokehold on the global supply chain, making it nearly impossible for other nations to compete or become self-sufficient. Even if other countries managed to mine rare earths, they still had to send the raw materials to China for processing, reinforcing China's dominance at every stage. This strategic move left the world deeply dependent on China for the rare earth elements essential to everything from smartphones to electric vehicles and advanced military technology. Only now, as supply chain vulnerabilities become clear, is the world waking up to the risks of this overwhelming dependency and scrambling to find alternatives. China's grip on rare earths is not just an economic advantage, it's a powerful tool in global affairs, giving the country significant leverage on the world stage. The Mountain Pass mine in California once led the world in rare earth production. It fueled America's tech revolution and defense systems during the Cold War. But in the 1980s and 90s, China's low prices and environmental concerns hit hard. Pipeline leaks and toxic waste led to costly cleanups and stricter regulations. By 2002, Mountain Pass shut down, and the US became almost entirely dependent on imports, mainly from China. The closure symbolized America's surrender of a critical industry. Attempts to revive the mine struggled against China's market manipulation. Today, new owners are trying to rebuild the US supply chain. Mountain Pass is a stark warning about losing domestic capacity in vital sectors. For years, the world relied on China for rare earths, until 2010 changed everything. A territorial dispute with Japan led China to halt rare earth shipments to its biggest customer. The impact was immediate. Japanese industries faced shutdowns, and global prices soared. China's message was clear: access to rare earths depends on your relationship with Beijing. The world realized its vulnerability overnight. Governments and companies scrambled to find alternatives and diversify supply. The 2010 incident was a turning point, ending global complacency. During the US-China trade war, China repeatedly hinted at using rare earths as leverage. Even the threat of a cutoff exposed deep strategic risks. The race to secure independent supply chains accelerated worldwide. Relying on one country for critical resources is risky, especially for technology and defense. China's control of rare earths creates multiple points of failure for the world. A supply cutoff could cripple industries and military production. Even accidents or instability in China could disrupt the global supply chain. China sets prices, stifling investment elsewhere and keeping competitors out. The US military depends on rare earths for advanced weapons and systems. Each F-35 jet, for example, needs nearly 1,000 pounds of these materials. This dependency is a glaring vulnerability for national security. Chinese firms enjoy stable, low-cost supply, while US and European companies face uncertainty. The world's technological future is built on a fragile, unbalanced supply chain. The US is taking action to rebuild its rare earth capabilities. Government and private industry are investing in a full mine-to-magnet supply chain. Mountain Pass is being revived, with new processing facilities built on site. The goal: process rare earths in the US, not ship them to China. Researchers are exploring new sources like coal ash and recycling old electronics. Urban mining could make rare earths more sustainable and eco-friendly. The US is also partnering with allies like Australia, Canada, and Japan. By building a network of trusted suppliers, America aims to reduce dependence on China. The comeback plan is about resilience and global cooperation. It's a race to secure the materials that power the future. America's rare earth comeback faces big challenges. China can manipulate prices, making new projects unprofitable and scaring off investors. Environmental regulations in the US add costs and slow development. Mining and processing rare earths is messy, producing toxic and radioactive waste. The US lost much of its technical expertise after decades of neglect. Rebuilding a skilled workforce and industrial base will take years. China controls over 85% of global processing capacity. Even with investment, it could take a decade or more to catch up. It's not just about opening mines, it's about building a complete supply chain. Each step requires billions in investment and long-term commitment. The scale of the challenge is immense. The race for rare earth independence is a marathon, not a sprint. The US knows it can't win this race alone. Building alliances is key to a secure, diversified supply chain. Australia and Canada have rich rare earth resources. The US partners with Australia's Lynas to process rare earths in Texas, bypassing China. Japan and the EU are also crucial allies, investing in non-Chinese supply. Japan, burned by China's 2010 cutoff, now backs alternative sources. The EU is boosting its own production and forming strategic partnerships. Working together spreads costs and risks and strengthens the market for friendly suppliers. Each country can specialize: mining, processing, or manufacturing. This alliance sends a clear message. The world is serious about breaking rare earth dependency. It's not about isolating China but restoring balance and resilience. No single country should control the world's technological future. The rare earth race is about more than just extracting minerals from the earth. It's about shaping the future of technology, national security, and global influence. Rare earth elements are the backbone of everything from electric vehicles and smartphones to advanced defense systems and renewable energy. The US and its allies must stay focused and committed, working together to ensure access to these critical resources. Government support is essential to de-risk private investment in new mines and processing facilities. Innovation is crucial, developing cleaner, more efficient extraction methods and inventing new materials that use fewer rare earths, reducing our dependence on limited supplies. Across the globe, researchers are racing to create magnets and components that don't rely on China-dominated elements, opening new possibilities for industry. Building a resilient supply chain means producing not just the raw materials, but also refining them into metals, alloys, and finished magnets that power our most advanced technologies. Connecting miners with manufacturers is key to creating a seamless, secure supply chain from the ground to the final product. For decades, the West prioritized cheap imports over long-term security and self-reliance. Now it must reverse course, investing in domestic capabilities and rebuilding lost expertise. Rebuilding this foundation will take patience, persistence, and a shared vision for the future. The invisible ingredients in our devices and defense systems are worth protecting. The stakes are high. Control of rare earths will help decide who leads the next technological revolution, shaping economies and security for generations. The time to act is now, before the window of opportunity closes.